And here we are. As always, let's do a quick sound check. Make sure everything is in full effect. People, you understand? Make sure we are righteously put for in this here going live. I'm looking at the wrong camera. I got a camera here, camera there. We're in this camera. Camera B. Let's make sure that everything, yeah, everything is everything. And we are off, man. That way, I keep going back to that way. What was the name of the old show? Straight like that live. Let me message into my chat box. All right. People. Here we are on my normal Sunday going of live. You dig what I'm saying? What are we talking about there? I don't have a big list of things, man. I have a show that I filmed a little earlier, that I'll be putting together and putting out over the next day, probably tomorrow. I guess kind of to rehash some old things, man. We are on the push for 1,000 subscribers. I currently sit at 963. When I started saying this, I was at like 910. So we about 53 people up. Last couple videos seem to have done well. So we on the way, man. We pushing. So if you happen to cross the channel, please like, comment, and most definitely subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping these numbers going up, man. Like I said, when I hit 1,000 and I can feel confident in that process, I'll start to do a couple more things with this channel and the content I put on it, man. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, bro, if you run across the channel, you like what I'm doing, like, comment, and subscribe. Get me in that thing, and we will go accordingly. As I always say. Now, where would we? I guess we just gonna go first, man. MAGA is over. You understand me? Now it's not officially dead and put in the ground yet, but if you've been keeping up with the process the last couple of weeks, man, they have some major smoke over there. You dig? We already know about just prices not going down, military being put in cities, people losing their farms, losing their health care benefits, and most recently we had this whole fiasco with the food stamp fundings and all of that because of the government being shut down. And you look around, and for as many people as saying this is what I voted for, get it done, too much winning, you have 10 people that look exactly like them that are losing their ass right now. You dig what I'm saying? And so they're complaining. The people that own these various locations, these grocery stores, these chicken farms, these berry farms, what have you. The same ones that were cheering for deportation and get the illegals out are now crying to keep the workers in. Whether they legal, I don't know. I don't even get into that process. They don't really bother me. You rarely see them. I don't use them as employees in my business, so it's kind of a non-starter in my community. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people out here that stood tall on what I can only see is sticking with their you know like skinned people. I guess what I'm saying, because there's no way that you voted the way that you voted prior to these things happening with the thought that you were dealing with a person that weren't going to allow these things, or you voted because you saw the things that he was advocating for and you thought that it was only going to apply to black and brown people. You dig what I'm saying? And a certain group of people out here didn't care if it was applied to people in their demographic because it's just a matter of skin color. You know what I'm saying? I think the rich part of society doesn't really care for the poor part of society, even if you look just like them. And so, the chickens are coming home to roost if you let a Nick Fuentes tell it, man. You know what I'm saying? So they've been on fire the last couple of weeks, bro. Ben Shapiro panicking. You got this whole Jewish dilemma within the movement, and now they mad at Trump and Yahoo and Israel and the Charlie Kirk thing. And so they waffling all over the place. Nick Fuentes said it's over, bro. I've got a long video from him, not long, about 8-10 minutes. That's in me the episode that I'm about to put out, man. He states his case, you know what I'm saying, for why he feels the way he feels. You got Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world. you know what I'm saying, Thomas Massey's of the world, you know what I mean? They're calling hard for the release of these Epstein files, bro. And some of the emails that came out just look bad, man. I mean, they look bad. They said 20,000. Now, from the ones, at least the ones I put in my show, and the ones I've heard reported on, we've probably, or I ain't gonna say we, at least me, I've probably only seen about 10 emails in total. But in a number of 20,000, you've got to know, especially that the news cycle and the rollouts and the October surprises, if you will, come these days. You've got to know that the little ones that they released at first have nothing on the ones that they're gonna release, this week. You know what I'm saying? Going down the road. And I think it is beginning to signal the end of the MAGA movement, because at the end of the day, um, let's say you're super racist and you just want to be a white supremacist and you want white people to rule. Okay, bet. I think by now you should see that Donald Trump is not the one to usher that in. It's not going to happen, period. But I don't think Donald Trump is giving you any confidence that that'll happen. What else could you have been? Uh, I guess you could be fooled and believe what he was going. Is it raining? I just washed my car. I was about to lose my mind. Okay. I just hear okay. What is that? Hold on. Oh, maybe that's just I ain't never noticed that. Maybe it's just the water running through the pipes. Maybe it's a leak down there. So. Yeah, that sounds weird. But anyways, what else could they have what other could have benefit of the doubt can we get these people on why they would have voted a particular way, man? And had no idea that it was gonna touch them. I don't know that, I mean, to be stupid enough to think that they could be, laser targeted on removing this, that, and the third from these programs and skip over this, that, and the third. Like, who thinks like that, bro? Who is actually stupid enough to convince themselves that that's the swag? Yeah, I mean, that's the move. And so we're gonna vote for somebody that hadn't showed. I don't know. I guess he lied to him and told him that he cared about him going into the election or what have you. But coming off the first administration, even if he said those things, still your brain and your eyes should have told you that that was a stretch. You know what I'm saying? But here we are now, man. And some of his staunch supporters, like I said, they turning coat. You dig what I'm saying? Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world. Like, this is the Jewish space laser, Jewish space lasers. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene said that the reason for the California wildfires is because Jewish people have a space laser that they're shooting down into the forest and starting fires. Utterly reprehensible, stupid statement, but that's what she said. But now you see her on her press junkie going around, and she can't stand Trump. She's in the MAGA movement is over. She's even saying that we need to come together. And I got to speak on that, bro. Like, because I've been thinking a lot here lately. But and I think most people feel the way that I feel. Like, man, I, like other people, I would imagine, lost so much respect for a lot of people out here in the world, man, that you thought were some common sense, well-rounded, grounded individuals. And with the political cycle that we've been in the last 18 years, man, it has exposed a lot of people that, for lack of a better word, are just like pure bigots, man. It has exposed a lot of black people for only being skin folk, not being kinfolk. It's allowed them to feel comfortable in it's one thing to say they grifting for the money, but there's not one black MAGA grifter out here that truly doesn't hate the skin that they're in. It's no real nigga, real chick out here that's able to wake up in the morning and represent that other side for the chick. Inside of them is some black hate. They do not like their people. They don't like what they've been through. Maybe they like being like in the Brandon Tatum. You know what I mean? Maybe black chicks didn't like him. He's a former cop, but he played football, so it seemed like he could have. But I'm telling you, it's no way you could. They couldn't pay you enough to destroy your own character like that. You dig what I'm saying? Unless you don't identify with it, you don't like it at all. Anyway, so I often sit back and think, man, I'm like, what are these people gonna do when it all falls down? I mean, you had Nick Fuentes and plenty others already telling them, like, you're tokens. We no longer need your support. We don't like listening to you. We never did listen to you. We just use you to try and get more people over to our cause. More people that look like you over to our cause. And then they turn around crying to other people that look like a Nick Fuentes. Brandon Tatum, them, I turn around and cry to them as if those people gonna be like, yeah, you know what, black man, you're right. I'm gonna take your side over this way. Like, oh my god, bro, it's so cringe. So I just wonder, like, what are they gonna do, bro? I mean, I wouldn't put it past some of them to come out with a damn. I wouldn't put it past Brandon Tatum to come out with a dashiki on one day. You dig what I'm saying? With some fake dreads at his hair. So you like some shit off of I'm gonna get you sucker. Cause I'm like, how do they once they finally realize and swallow the fact that they are worth absolutely negative nothing to the people that they have been going hard carrying water for all these years. When they finally accept, I don't know, are they going to remove themselves from Earth? If they don't and they stay on Earth, what are they going to do with their lives? How do they get back to some sort of semblance of being a normal person with friends and people that really take them seriously? Because I don't see them being able to come back to the community, bro. And it's obvious that they don't belong to the community for which they advocate. You dig? So I think a lot, man. I sit back and wonder what these videos gonna start to look like. What are they gonna come to the table and say as to why? And it's one thing to vote, Republican. It's one thing to be a conservative, but it is a completely different thing to be MAGA. It is a whole other thing to turn your camera phone on and talk about the people of Chicago or people on black people on SNAP benefits as if they're welfare queens, and like that's a completely different thing. That's the type of shit you can't come back from, and I know it firsthand in real life. You think about people that a black person that would tell you that would say to you, "Yeah, man, George Floyd died of fentanyl." How would those people ever be viewed as someone that you would deal with? Like, what could they ever say that would make you give them a pass for being so stupid? You know what I'm saying? So I just wonder what they're gonna do with themselves, bro. I guess they're just gonna duck off, and as long as they got the money and means to live the life they want to live day by day, they'll go on and stay in their little stupid bubble and just shield themselves from the truth and what people really think about them. But it's gonna be interesting to see them trying to crawl back to their respective communities, man. The Latino people out here that was all crazy about Trump, like, what in the hell are they gonna say to their family members and shit when they know, like, damn, why you ain't seen that red hat in a while, Jose? What is Jose gonna say? It's crazy, bro. So it's interesting to watch, though. I relish every second of it because, like, on these shows all the time, I tell you, man, like I liken it to the Roman Empire days, and again, when the Roman Empire got to the height of its size, the height of its power went through approximately 1,000 years of dark ages. So go look it up and see why it happened. And like I say, it looks like the same thing happening right now, man. These Epstein files, uh, the outlook that, yeah, this man, it's so crazy. And all of this is in the show, bro. It says a lot about you. When you coming up as a kid, your parents say stuff like, you are the friends you keep. You dig what I'm saying? And at one point, like, you're like, oh. But as you get old and you start to examine things, you understand the birds of a feather flock together thing. It's like, yeah, you are the company you keep. If you're nothing like these four other guys, you're not gonna spend a large amount of time around. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not gonna do a lot of things together. You know what I'm saying? Might pop in and pop out, but you're not gonna, if you're comfortable being around people for a long period of time and doing things that they involved in, it's because you are of the like mindset. Two opposites don't attract in that type of category. So you it's odd because for a fact. I mean, I don't. It's. I mean, bro. It's crazy because that this man I ain't gonna say too many hardcore accusations. I'll just go down the path I was gonna say. Like I was thinking about Megan Kelly. Megan Kelly went on national television the other day and said, and I'm paraphrasing. I've got the full quote and the full video in my video. But Megan Kelly went on TV and said she was told by very close, uh, trusted sources that either just Epstein or Epstein and Trump, they didn't actually like little kids. They liked barely legal looking kids. So the females, little girls that they dealt with were like 14, 15 years old. Something that would look of age if you saw her from afar, but if you approached her, you would see that she probably wasn't. And so those are the type of girls that they preferred, not the 8-year olds. So apparently, in Megan Kelly's mind, it's not against the law if they're closer to the age of being legal. Like what woman, bro? What woman opens her mouth and says, basically, it ain't so bad because they didn't have relations with an 8-year old. She was 14. These are the type of people we dealing with, bro. These are the type of people that you look at them and you say that there's no redeemable qualities to them. You know what I'm saying? It just makes me wonder how crazy they gonna go. Now I don't worry about them doing too much because they some chumps around the board. Um, but I just want to watch it implode, bro, and just wonder how many bombs they're gonna try to throw out there on their way down. See how many ships they try to sink and take along with them. But they put themselves on the bad side of history, man, and bent over backwards and accepted far too many things from this administration and the rhetoric coming out of their mouths, for people to take them seriously and give a damn about them just going down to the lowest point in their life. And you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna laugh at it when it happens because you brought it on yourself, man. And so when you get on TV and say stupid shit like that, and then turn around in the next breath and say you're investigating Obama, let's go put Michelle Obama in jail. But then you'll say it ain't so bad because Trump and them only dealt with 14-year-olds. Like, come on, bro. What world are we living in? But it's on the way out of here, man. They can't do nothing with Nick Fuentes. He got them grow up going crazy. They listen to what he said, large and in part because he's been saying these things for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like he started out a MAGA guy, but he's more on this America First movement, which he's just like I don't really know the definitions of it, but it allowed him to be in a position to where he could lash out and speak his mind about the Trump administration more so than just a regular MAGA. And so he's been voicing some opinions for a while, and here lately, after this whole Jewish fiasco and the things with this with these Epstein emails, he's like, bro, MAGA is a wrap. You know what I'm saying? They need to damn near impeach Trump. You know what I'm saying? Ask him about these emails about when he's supposed to have dinner with Epstein in like 2019. Let you tell it you ain't seen him in 15 years and all that. So they on their head, bro. They are on their head, and I think we all could see this coming. It came a lot fast. I figured that maybe they would have been player enough to kind of take it on through the midterms, but I guess they just trying to run their check up as fast as possible, and whatever crumbles along the way, they with it, man. But that's where we at with that whole little movement. You dig? Um, Moving on along. Anything else from the politics world that struck me this week? Those emails have been a pretty much big thing. The government, from what I understand, is reopened now. About 2-3 days ago, that went down. Apparently, SNAP benefits and all of that have been released. I'm not sure the ins and outs of the subsidies for these healthcare and ACA. And, that was kind of the big hang up. I hadn't read into it to know, what concessions was made with that or what have you. But at least they got that back going, and people that were out here that really depended on, that source of food for their family. At least that's back going, man. Because with people selling meme coins and making $2 billion while they in office and all of that, it would make sense that you don't deprive people of food that vendors are getting paid for. And don't get it confused. Not like this is free food. You dig what I'm saying? Like the farmers that supply this food, The stores that accept it and sell it, like they're all paid back by the government. So it's like it's not like they're just giving people free stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is incentive for them as well. Um, but that's one of the barely good things, man. Now you want to turn around and launch investigations to this, that, and the third, trying to deflect off of his name. And I think he played his people. He played his people for too stupid, man. I guess you could come out and say, smart people don't vote for me, or I love the poorly uneducated. You can say that, and it'll probably go, in one ear, out the other, over some heads. People are excused it. Oh, Trump just talks like that. That's how he is. We love him. He's so funny, type shit. But, when you sit in an interview and you say to, I think that was Megan Kelly again, or was they all look alike, bro? Like, do not hold me. What's the other one? I'm gonna call her Gretchen Whitmer, not Gretchen Whitmer. Megan Kelly and what is her name? Bone thin white lady. That's just call her that. Um, but when you sit in front of her and tell her that, you know, basically, and if you see white folks got to own all of this, bro. It's like we get to sit back and laugh because they assume they're the only ones that matter. So all of this smoke is on y'all. So when Trump sits in front of the interview and says, you don't have intelligent people, you don't have the kind of workers that can go and make these chips and make these factories and go into the war factories and make these bombs. And she's like, oh, yes, we do. You're like, no, 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 you don't. So when he's saying that, obviously anybody that's watching that knows that, because in their mind, black and brown people are DEI hires. You can't be smart enough to get a job on your merits as a black and brown person, right? These are the parameters they're working in. So when he says that, he's talking about white guys, white women. You can't sit in front of a show on TV and say, you white people ain't smart enough, bro. Like, you can't do that, bro. Like, it's so crazy, bro. The funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. But once you do stuff like that, then that's gonna inflame them, bro. You know what I'm saying? They'll stick behind you and make themselves look stupid for a plethora of things. But they say all the time when you're dealing with that side of the demographic, they say hit them in the pocket, bro. When you mess with their money, them some bitches will come and apologize. You feel me though? Oh my God. Let them look in their bank account and they $10 less went in it today than went yesterday. Them some bitches put together a whole apology for the community. Yeah, they want to come spend that money. And they may be disingenuous, but we know how to get their attention. And so, when you tell them that they're not worthy of these jobs, these high paying jobs, they're not as smart as they think they are. Oh shit. They gave their yes now, Trump. Donald J, they own him, cuz. So, it's fracturing over that. And it is some of the funniest shit. But, life has got its way of working situations in a way that I can't say I didn't expect it, but Earth is undefeated, bro. You know what I mean? Evolution, from what I understand, is undefeated. Progress, for the most part, goes along unimpeded. It may be some hurdles, but man, there's 330 million people in America, 8 billion worldwide. You know what I'm saying? To think that a small group of people, um, like-minded individuals will continue to exert the kind of power and force and authority around the earth as they will now and have wielded, it's ignorant to think that that's going to continue to go on. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I remember reading something back in the days when I was into my ancient history thing and just reading up on a bunch of old stuff and what have you happened. And I read something to the effect that I just call them the first creators, the little first round of, I guess, slave traders or what have you, or just to establish the old systems, the Jim Crow of it all. Which I don't know, Jim Crow was fairly recent compared to the time of the slave trade and Declaration of Independence and all those days. But it was said something basically to the effect of the system that we have set up will not work forever. You know what I'm saying? It will benefit our families for generations to come. But slowly but surely, as you go forward, things will start to change. And this way of life, this system will no longer be sustainable. So it's just up to every next generation to do as much as you can to keep it going. But eventually it is going to crumble. And I think we are at that place. In fact, I saw an interview the other day. Errol Musk, father of Elon Musk, was talking to I almost called the guy. He liked the talk show host. The O'Sullivan is his last name. He looks like the talk show host. Got to be riding around doing the rap songs in the car. What's his name? English cat. But anyways, he's talking to O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan tells him that it is estimated that in 20 years, white people will be the minority. I don't know if he's saying in the United States or worldwide, or I think worldwide they already are. So they'll be the minority in America. Errol Musk goes on to say that that would be a horrible thing. He's like, do you not want to? You do you not want electricity? You not want electric cars? Do you not want hot dogs? Like, in what fucking world does Errol Musk live in? That his son is the only person that can make an electric car. And by the way, his son don't make Tesla. He bought Tesla. So he wasn't no innovator, new creator. But does he think, what, I guess white people are the only people that can make eggs and shit? Like, what is he talking about? See, this is the type of shit that make people look at your plight and watch you go down and just watch the building burn around. Like I made an analogy the other day. I was like, motherfuckers will sit in their living room and the house is burning around them. But they're so privileged and so lost in their sauce. They'll swear to God. Oh, do you know who I am? The police, the fire department, when they look and see my address and they see it's me, they're gonna rush over here so fast and put this fire out. I don't even have to move from this living room chair because I'm sure they're gonna go and put this fire out as soon as possible, and they're gonna save much of my home because of who I am. And they will sit there. The fire is closing in on them. They still thinking sitting they important as hell. Somebody coming to rescue them because it's them, because they're so important. And the next thing you know, smoke inhalation, burnt to death dead. You dig what I'm saying? That's kind of like just sitting in the burning building, bro. Sitting in the burning building. So, that's what they choose to do with it. They choose to bypass common sense that, bro, I don't know if there's anything black people can't do. I don't know that there's anything Indian people can't do. I don't know that it's in me to try and call out any category of people and say what they're capable of, what they're not capable of. And I don't think our culture does that. It's like one culture that does that, but that shit is biting them in the ass right about now. And it's hilarious to watch. But that's pretty much, that's the rundown on that, man. We're gonna keep seeing how this thing plays out. I'm sure some hot news. I ain't really tuned in today. I'm sure some hot news out for that for me to listen to. I'll go check it too. But let's move on to some other things. Man, let's do a little sports before we get out of here. As you all know, I am a Bama fan. You dig? Bama lost last night to the Oklahoma Sooners, which marks 2 years straight. Like what? We don't lose to Oklahoma. And I'm gonna go and put my conspiracy theory out there. And this is something that I think I've been seeing all year. You know, I find it odd. We talk about the offensive line. Like, damn, these boys can't block a goddamn mosquito. You know what I mean? But then you always hear him talking about the Caden Proctors of the worlds and how these dudes are just all world and ready to go to the next level. So you say, well, damn, how are these defenders? How are these defensive lines just blowing through them seemingly every snap, bro? It's like, then I watch the games. I'm looking at the running game. Now, Jam Miller leaves a lot to be desired. He doesn't have a lot of shake and groove to him. But I'm like, I know the University of Alabama recruits good running backs. We lost a couple to the NIL and Portland and all of that. But I'm looking at Jam Miller averaging only 3.6 yards a carry. I'm looking at Ty Simpson playing good ball, but he's still scrambling around and, making good. So I'm like, damn, what's up with the offensive line? So I just start looking at everything, man. And it seems to me that the defense is like a step ahead of our offense. You know what I'm saying? Like they're on the same page, bro. It looks a little too dialed in. And so before this Oklahoma game, I was scrolling around looking at some things, and it caught my eye. Because, of course, Brett Venables was once the defensive coordinator at Clemson University, a school that I loathe. Clemson has always been shit at football, right? Always. All of a sudden, they popped up out the frying pan here a handful of years ago, and they had the little back of the back run, the years with Deshaun Watson and then Trevor Lawrence. And that's right when Alabama was in their dynasty run. And I remember the national championship game against Clemson when Deshaun Watson was the quarterback. Uh, is it Hunter Henry was the wide receiver where they ran that little bullshit pick play to win the game on that touchdown? Horrible call, despicable call by Dabo. That next year, I don't know if you're aware, but there were 6 players, and there were some players from the Bama side as well, if I remember correctly. But there were 6 players from Clemson that tested positive for steroids before the national championship game. Dexter Lawrence was one of them. Because if you remember during that game, they kept putting the camera on him. He was on the sideline in street clothes. But that nigga like fucking Incredible Hulk. You dig what I'm saying? But they kept hitting him with the camera, and then they went on to explain why he wasn't playing because he's tested positive for steroids. That caused me to look a little deep, and I came to find out that the Clemson, track and field program, I think the soccer program, 3 or 4 they athletic organizations have been in hot water for the use of steroids. Right? When you watch that game, Trevor Lawrence, bro, we had Trevor Lawrence sacked 5, 6 times. I mean, up the pipe. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, dead to rights. And it's like, bro, we had Jonathan Allens and what I'm saying, the Ryan Paynes of the world. We had beasts on the defensive line. Bro, they'd run into Trevor Lawrence, and it's like they were just bouncing off him, like his body was just turned up. It was like, you look at him, he's gritting his teeth. They was talking about how your cheekbones and your face structure look when you on steroids, bro. I'm convinced. You had Trevor Etienne about this tall, bro. They could not tackle that man all night. If you kept looking at his legs when he would run into the pile, because it's like this dude would get 3-4 yards after contact in the pile, pushing the pile. I'm looking at his legs just wouldn't stop moving. He pushing everybody. 3-4 big off defensive line. I'm like, damn, what? That look odd. One of the wide receivers, I think, brother, in the league now, he came off the line so hard and fast one time. He basically jammed our DB. What was his name? Kyrie. It was a Kyrie. I forget his last name. DB for us. Man, the Clemson dude came off the line so hard and fast, basically chucked him, pushed him back so hard and fast, bro. When bro tried to catch himself, he blew his ACL. I've never seen that happen in the football. I've never seen a DB get chucked so hard at the line that he have to try and brace himself so hard and fast that he blew his ACL. So it was a funny game. So, I looked into those things. And then I heard something about Brett Venables. They said that he is notorious for stealing play calls, right? I'm looking at that first half yesterday, bro, and it's like, man, every time we ran the ball, every time we dropped back to pass, it's like nobody's open. Oklahoma ain't that good. If they was that good, they'd be undefeated. They were on everything, bro. No wide receivers open. They right in the right gaps on all the running plays. I'm just like, man, this looks funny, bro. This looks funny. And I'll tell you what I saw that sparked my interest. Right towards the end of the second half, score was 17-7, Oklahoma way. Bama had the ball driving in the red zone. Ty Simpson, audibles or whatever you call it, or calls a fake snap. And then Alabama team turns and looks to the side for the new play. Well, you know what happened at the same time? The entire Oklahoma defense stood up and looked to the sideline as if they had no clue what to do on the fly. You've got a defensive and an offensive captain. And so the whole team doesn't look to the sideline because you need to stay focused in case the ball is snapped. So you have one player, your quarterback, or you got a DB, a linebacker on the other side. That's your captain that's smart out there. He looks and gets to play. You stay focused looking at what's going on. The entire team stopped and looked to the sideline. To the point, they were so confused that by the time they turned around, Ty Simpson had already snapped the ball and threw the ball to the tight end, and he is traipsing into the end zone. They just now turn around seeing what's going on. I think he called that because he had an understanding. When they asked Ryan Grubb and all about that leading up to the game, they told him that he was notorious for doing that. And he said, "Well, we'll switch things up, and if he's listening right now, then just know we're gonna switch the signs up." So I think he was aware of the lick, and I think he made that call to expose them for they're not calling football plays and defensive plays based off of just personnel and what are their strengths. They're calling defensive plays based off of the play that we're running because they know what play we're running. I'm convinced of that. Because when right after we scored that touchdown, they put the camera on Brett Venables and he was losing his shit. He had his mouth covered up, but he was losing his shit. And I'm like, it felt like to me, it looked like to me, he's like, bro, you just made that obvious, bro. Like I would not be surprised if they didn't get a letter from the SEC. You dig what I'm saying? If I'm Caleb DeBoer, I'm most certainly sending a couple clips from that game over to the NCAA office, the SEC office, or what have you, and see if they see the same things I see. Funny little weekend for football antics, man. If we stay in the SEC, was I finished talking about that? 23-21. Yeah, I think the lick was in, bro. Like I think the lick was in, and Brett Venables come from a program that is most certainly had that name thrown around those kind of accusations before. So Bama lost their second game of the year. Probably made the playoff picture a little crazy, a little funky right now, but we'll see. As time goes on down the road, man. Speaking of football in the SEC, this pissed me off. And I look forward to find out who he is. And I hope the parents don't let this shit go. I hope the South Carolina Gamecocks don't let this shit go. But during the Texas A&M South Carolina game on Saturday, a game that South Carolina lost so crazily. They lost that game 31-30. South Carolina was up 30-3 at halftime, right? Right there around halftime, wide receiver Nick Harbor went for 80 yards and a touchdown. And it looked like he kind of tweaked his hamstring. So he went on into the tunnel, ran a couple steps into the tunnel. Some of his teammates going there to get him. As they're coming back out, Officer Dimwit Dumb Shit. Officer Dimwit Dumb Shit. I hope he gets to watch this. Any of his loved ones, or anybody from Texas that loves police, because I don't like any police. So I hope someone of y'all catch this show and you had to take umbrage with what I'm saying. Officer Dumb Shit Dipwit. For some odd reason. Now, let's give him benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's the security guard there and the player ran to the tunnel, so he's going back there to do security detail. Players aren't supposed to be in the tunnel at this time. We're not sure who may be back there. He's not going back there in injured tit, so let me go back there and check on him as a part of my job. Okay, let's say that was the case. Well, as you proceed to walk up the tunnel, and then you look up and you see the football players, they're leaving the tunnel, they're coming back down to the field. You as an officer, a dipshit dumbwit police officer at that, you should have got skinny or just kind of got out the way. It was no need for you at that point. No, instead of getting skinny or getting out the way, one of the players goes to try to, I think Nick Harbor kind of went to get out of to move out of his way, show him some respect. He had another player with him, I think player number 27. I forget his name. He didn't particularly get out the way, and I don't think they needed to. But what did Officer Dimwit Duck shit do? Oh, he threw his elbows out. Mad because his A&M team getting their ass handed to him. And when they, didn't just move out of his way and turned around and looked in and responded to his bump, he proceeds to put his finger in the face and telling them to get back to the field. Then you see him walk on back to the field. What were you going? Maybe he was going to check on them, like I said, because he just turned around and walked back out. But in what? You know what I would have loved to see? I would have loved to have seen those two players get pissed off about what he did and turn and engage his ass and argue back with him. Or like, what you doing? What you bumping to me for, bro? Like, what you doing? Get out the way. I would have loved for him to do that because what was he gonna do? You think he was gonna what try to pull out his cuffs and arrest a player right there on the field after everybody seeing what he did? Man, that might have been the start of the war. Hey, yeah. That might have been the start of the war. If Officer Dim with duck shit would have put his hands on one of them players, one of them black players, huh? After what he did, I wish it would have went down. That might have crunk it up in the great state of Texas. That yesterday might have been the point that all y'all been hollering about. That might have been it. Because I would have loved to seen them engage him and see what kind of stance he had. Then the Texas state troopers, whoever these little duck shits are, I guess they said they sent him off of duty for the day. Now we need him to be fired. Because, like many people said in the comments, if he's willing to do that in front of 112,000 people, can you imagine what he does out here in these streets when it's dark at night? You dig what I'm saying? When he's trying to meet his quota, he looks like a body camera malfunction waiting to happen. You understand what I'm saying? You can only imagine, bro. I don't care how mad he was about the game. You ain't playing, lame. Why you so mad for? You don't play. I would, bro. I'm telling you, I wish both of them would have engaged him, bro. I would have 3-point stance his ass after he, but I might have just turned around, put out a 3-point stance and rushed him. They say he used to play football. Somebody got to come in and say he used to play outside linebacker at my school. Yeah. Somebody should have rushed his ass, bro. It was completely stupid of him to do that, man. And so, like I say, if I was South Carolina, especially we lost the game too, oh, I'm on his ass. Somebody got to lose. Somebody got to lose along with me. I would be vying for him to not be on any more football games. Now, when the police gets fired out here in the world, they usually just move to the next town. There's no accountability. That's why people just utterly hate them, bro. Like, so that's what I'd be pushing for. More importantly, if I was the parent, oh yeah. If I'm the mama or the dad and one of them youngers, yeah, shit. Hey, shit. They'd put me in jail. I wouldn't rest. I'd call the office every day. I'd be down there every day. Lawyer Ben Crump. Shit. I'm finna get some money. We already got the NL money. I'm finna get some more money. I'm finna get him fired. I'm raise some hell. I call BL over to everybody. They gotta crank it up at this bit. But yeah, man, that was a bad look, bro. Like I've been looking around. I ain't found his name. Nobody doxed him yet. Somebody doxed him, man. I thought we was a doxing society. You can't let nobody do that. Hey, they identified the guy the other day that cussed out Dave Portnoy. They had his name come out later. What's up with the policeman? Can we get the policeman name? And I quit calling him Officer Duck shit, whatever they be. So let's get that popping. That would be good for the culture, man. And it's kind of like my last. What are we at? 42. I may not even make an hour this time, cuz. I may not, but it's all good. Because my last piece of talking around sports and football is Shedeur Sanders. I saw Shedeur finally get him some snaps. He finally got some snaps in the game today. It only came after a trash playing Dylan Gabriel went out with a possible concussion. So had he not been concussed, he would have continued to play out there. Now they were up when he left the game, apparently. So I guess he did some good things. I didn't tune in until like the fourth quarter, but I did see Shedeur in the time that he got to do something. I didn't see the first two passes. They said the first two passes he completed them. When I started watching, I think he had went 0 for 7 up to that point. And when I started watching, I saw him throw some passes, but he was like 0 for 7. And then last 2 minutes of the game, they got a chance to go down and tie it up. He threw a couple good passes that would drop, like 2 big drops. One for that could have possibly been the first down, number 44. I forget who he is. Say a rookie for somewhere. He dropped one. And then he hit somebody in the end zone, and it was just a good play by the DB. Even though the DB had his back turned, he kept himself from being called for pass interference because he didn't really hit the player. He just put his arm out and raked the ball away. So kind of thwarted those chances. A couple times I seen Shedeur hold on to the ball a little long, which is something that they've been saying he's been doing ever since at Jackson State. And in the league where you got like 2.5 seconds to get rid of that thing. So, this being his first time getting some snaps, I can't really beat him up. After the game, you know what I'm saying? You seen him over there still with his head down and sitting there thinking, and he's probably like, damn, a high level athlete like that are their biggest critics, man. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was kind of unexpected. It's not like dude told him he was gonna get snapped. So soon as dude go down, like, hey, should get up and get ready. And so, he may have went in and he may have been feeling like, I got my shot, bro, that I've been waiting on. And I went out there and underperformed. But I don't know if anybody can really take this performance and beat him up just out the gate coming in like that. He threw a couple good passes, did a couple good things. He felt the pressure as the game went, you know what I mean? Like I seen him scramble a couple of times when just the snap, but just the series before that, he basically took a sack on that play or got rid of the ball late. So I think he was learning as he went in that little limited time, man. But I like the team better with Shador. Shador looks like he's supposed to be the quarterback of that team. You can't be mad about winning games. Cleveland don't win shit anyway. You do what I'm saying? They consistently 3-4 wins a year. So I would at least be trying to sell some jerseys, man, and get some attention. But but it's wild because last week, what's the defender dude? Miles Garrett. Miles Garrett went crazy and basically on some man put you doing the game, bro. But it doesn't appear that they took that to heart. Because Dylan Gabriel just got the start and only went out, like I said, because he got a concussion. So I don't know what's up with Cleveland, bro. You just, as long as you're doing that, I want to win. But if they are going to try to play on this top, I think they should lose every game they attempt to play. And then maybe why don't they sell the team? Yeah, let's just move the team out of Cleveland, bro. What is it even in Cleveland? Nothing in Cleveland, Ohio, man. Let's just go somewhere else, get a new swag, move it down to Florida or something. But yeah, they finally put him in, bro. So if Dylan Gabriel's got a concussion, then he definitely should definitely probably get to start next week. And if he can come on out and perform well, man, he may can keep that position for himself. You know what I'm saying? He finally got it in there. Everybody been waiting to see it. So that's pretty much it on that, man. It is Sunday night. It is rounding up to 8 o'clock my time. I do have some assignments to finish because I do graduate with my medical degree in about 30 more days, people. So thank you. What else should I go down, man? I don't know. I went through Marjorie Taylor Greene and MAGA and Nick Fuentes, these Epstein files, this lame ass cop from A&M, the Bamalos, the Brett Venables, play calling conspiracy, play stealing conspiracy. Shador. I don't know if any what sports is on tonight. Who playing Sunday night football? I'm not really sure, man. But like I said, we pulling down close to it. We at 47 minutes. I tried to make an hour, but I didn't quite get it this time, and it's all good. Yeah, we're gonna get ready to wrap this thing up, man. I got a show to work on and get that out to the people here shortly. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in. You dig what I'm saying to you? And until we meet again, this has been Straight Like That Live. I'm out.